Fantasy colors are your purples, pinks, blues, greens, basically any color that's not natural. Like this. This is Xmondo Super Purple. It's a semi-permanent hair color, which most fantasy colors are going to be labeled semi-permanent. All that means is it's deposit only. Whatever's in the bowl, box, tube is what you put on the hair. You don't have to mix this with a developer. It's also not going to lift my hair. Semi-permanent hair colors eventually fade out with each shampoo, elements of the earth, weather, sun, we'll get into that later. They will eventually come out and go back to whatever's underneath them. To achieve this violet, your hair needs to be in the blonder category. The lighter your hair shade, the more vibrant these colors are going to look. When we go down to level 1, 2, 3, and 4 and put this purple on, which we'll do in a minute, all it's going to do is give it a hue or a purple tint when it's in the light. It's not necessarily going to change it to be a purple, you're just getting a tint. So if your hair color is a level 6 right here, and you're hoping it looks like this, just like it did in the container, that's not going to happen. Think of it like this. I have the brightest piece of paper, white, purple marker, and I do a little doodle, the zigzag is going to look just like the marker. If I have a black piece of paper, which I didn't, I had to just print this out, that really went through the ink on the printer, and I do the same doodle, you can see there's a purple tint to the black, but it's not going to change the black paper. So again, the brighter your hair is, the blonder you can get it, the brighter this hair color is going to look. It's going to look true to the swatch. Sorry, I have my flipper in. The S's are annoying me. I can't pronounce them. When you go to Sally's, and you see all the swatches for the vivid hair colors, the blues, purples, even the pastels, those are usually colored on white hair, or hair that looks very similar to this. So if you want your hair to look like those swatches, it's usually a 2-step process. That means bleaching your hair, getting it the brightest you can in a safe way. That's important. Shampoo, condition, blow dry, and then apply the fantasy color after that. If you're going to do this and lighten your hair, just remember, a lot of times when we lighten our hair, we will get hot roots, which means the hair on the top, the root area, is going to be blonder, brighter versus the ends. Your scalp radiates heat, like touch your head right now. Can you feel it through the wig? It's hot. When heat mixes with lightener, it makes it go faster. The ends don't have as much heat. There may be color on them, trauma, split ends, breakage, whatever. A lot of times they're darker. So if you have blonde roots and a darker end, put the fantasy color on top, the result is going to be very bright fantasy color with a darker fantasy color. It's a really common problem because it is really hard to get that to be an even canvas. We'll back up. I don't want to call it a problem. Sometimes it can look really nice. It looks like it's a little bit of an ombre. However, if you want it to be an even color, top to bottom, straight up purple, then your canvas or your starting point needs to be an even color. So key point there. If your starting hair color is uneven, the result is uneven. Here we have Brenda looking like a prize today, like she had a wild Saturday night. This is a human hair mannequin that has been pre-lightened. Brenda's about a level 9, which is almost as blonde as you can get it. We're just gonna do a little sliver here. So when you're applying fantasy color, it's straight from the container. I would suggest putting this in a bowl first, so it's sanitary, and you're just putting it on there. You want to make sure that it's saturated because it tends to be a thicker color. Again, there's no developer mixed with this, so it is thicker. If you're coloring your entire head or doing a larger section, you're literally just gonna do a big scoop and run it through. Do one of these, do one of these. Make sure it's all the way saturated. Again, this hair color is super thick. Not just this brand, but pretty much all semi-permanent fantasy colors. And that includes the pastels too, the Easter pink, Easter blue, Easter green. Processing time for Xmondo color is 20 minutes. I would suggest putting a cap over the head, even if you have foils. Because the color is so thick, it does dry out quicker. If you don't have a plastic shower cap, use a Kroger bag, grocery bag, Food Line. Anybody going to Food Line anymore? Food Line bag, and just tie it in the back. Semi-permanent hair color has the same color molecules as permanent hair color. The only difference is they don't penetrate through the hair shaft as much as permanent hair color. Think of it as a car wrap. You know how people wrap their cars? For example, let's say someone had a white, oh, I just saw one of those. What are they called? VW Beetles? Bugs. And they went and got a wrap on it. Let's say they changed it to baby blue. The wrap isn't changing the color of the car. The VW Bug is still white, but to the eyes, it's blue. So it's essentially just covering up the hair strand, covering the cuticle to make it appear like it's something else, doing a very little chemical change. Every shampoo, this is going to get lighter till eventually it's not there anymore. On this level of hair, which we said is a level 9, I did this last night. This is what it looks like. It looks very similar to what's in the tub. This is a level 10 swatch, and here's what the color looks like. You can tell it is a little bit brighter because the hair was brighter. This is basically white. It is extremely dangerous to decolorize your hair to this level of white. And when you look close at this, it is fried. If you are able to decolorize it to this, which is never recommended, it will probably break off. You can get your hair to this level. You're not gonna go from black to this in the same day. This is going to take time. I would suggest if you're at black hair trying to get here, to give it a couple months. Also, you don't need to worry about the tone. You're just trying to get the level, how light or dark it is. You don't need to worry about this yellow. This will cancel out that yellow. You just need to get the level light enough to grab onto this color. Look at this mannequin. She has darker hair. Looks like a 5 or 6, so it's darker. I applied this yesterday and it was actually on for about an hour. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that, but if you catch it just the right way, you can see that it did change the tonality of the hair to a nice plum. It's still the same lightness or darkness. Actually, it looks a little bit darker. Oh, I love it. But it has a really rich look to it. So you can see the lighter your hair is, the more vibrant this is gonna look, but it also looks really nice on darker hair. It's a more subtle, I call them workable looks. You know, some jobs, serious jobs, don't want you to have hair color. Who really cares? But some people care, I guess. Care enough where you can't do it. So it's a workable color. Semi-permanent fantasy colors last about 10 to 15 shampoos. Kind of. It also depends on the porosity of your hair, what was the starting level. There's a lot of things that will determine how long these are gonna last. So some tips to make them last longer. Before you apply this, you wanna clarify your hair, which means just taking a clarifying shampoo. I like to use one by the generic brand from Sally's. It's generic for Paul Mitchell 3. That's a really nice clarifying shampoo. Lightly condition the ends, blow dry it, apply the color. I would suggest rinsing it out with cold water. You're not really gonna wait for the water to turn clear because it's not. Semi-permanent hair color always will show up in the water. Rinse it till you feel like it's all out, and then blow dry it. We used to call this burning it in, which is just something you do on fantasy colors to make sure they're sealed as much as they can be. Moving forward, that's the only time you're gonna wanna blow dry it. The rest of the times you can let it air dry because less heat on these colors is best. That includes blow drying, flat iron, being out in the sun, UV rays, definitely not a tanning bed. If you do wanna go out in the sun, they do have spray on, what am I looking for? SPF sunscreen. You can spray it on your hair, I'll link it below. Also want to avoid pools, hot tub. You're not putting your head underwater in a hot tub, are you? Don't do that. And use a color safe shampoo and conditioner. It doesn't have to be a fancy $50 brand. Go to Walmart, look at the back, make sure it's paraben free and it says color safe. If your hair color starts looking dull, which it will because these do fade fast, you can take a big scoop of this, mix it with a conditioner, and do a mask in the shower while you're shaving your legs. Also, this color and other fantasy colors do tend to stain the shower, the tub. Just get some bleach. Another cool way to use fantasy colors, and I actually like to use this brand to do this, is to make a toner. You put just a little bit, maybe half of this. Mix it with shampoo, put gloves on, shampoo your hair, maybe for 30 seconds, quickly rinse it out. It makes a really nice toner. You just have to be careful because the longer you leave it on, it's going to turn it purple. And the last thing to consider is when these fade out, they do have undertones to them. Purple will fade out to a lilac, pink will fade out to a pastel pink, blues tend to fade out to have green. You can just give it time or get a color remover to get rid of that. That's a rundown of fantasy colors. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them below. Please check out my main channel if you want. I'm there every Sunday for mediocre entertainment.